Welcome to Linux Saloon, a place to discuss tech, open source, and where Linux is always on tap. Each show, we have a chat about the Linux project, like a distribution or desktop environment, application. We also chat about the news or any variety of topics from the community. Anything that is Linux, tech, and open source related is on the table for discussion. I'm Nate, Linux fitness and vintage tech enthusiast, and with me today, I have a very new-ish panel of people. Well, there's Jinda. He's not new. He's kind of been around. I have Mr. O. Wint, Cruz, Terry. Terry, I guess his last name is Merry Christmas this time of year. And Sang. Welcome. How is everybody doing this evening?
Excellent.
Fantastic. Great. So on the docket for tonight, we are going to have a chat about, we have a straw poll, and then have a chat about the applications in review from the last year. So, we talked about a lot of different applications on Linux Saloon, and I thought it'd be fun to just kind of review and see, what applications we're still using. I guess maybe not all of us maybe have tried it, but at least we'll go down the various months of applications, and then I'll talk about the straw poll before that. We'll do a little housekeeping and then a last call. But first, what have you been doing in Linux and tech, Terry? You were doing all kinds of I guess maybe show spoilage ahead of time, but maybe you're working out your notes. I don't know. But you've had some Antics Blues. So what are these Antics Blues?
With the version 23, trying to install version 23, ran into some problems with things working, and then with the kernel too. So it was a 5.10 kernel, right? And there's some kind of problem with 23 where the 5.10. There's something about within the 5.10 that has to be removed, right? So I found it on the Antics Borum, right, where you have to go in, sudo app, remove. So I pasted it in, right? Mm-hmm. Once you remove that, then things started working. But then, like Cruz said, Bluetooth. What was the other thing, Cruz? Not the printer, but your Wi-Fi.
Right, the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
And that was on, but all that stuff worked on 22, but didn't work on 23. So decided to switch to MX Linux, no problems. Install, no problem. Everything works on MX. It's great, perfect, working, great. Just, I'm sure Antics will work out them bugs though.
Oh yeah, I mean they've been around a long time, so they've you always, every once in a while, you're just going to have kind of a bum release, I think that just kind of happens, something is just missed or overlooked, or, the hardware that it was being tested on didn't have a certain configuration. But yeah, I have all the faith and confidence.
It makes me wonder, though, if any of the problems are related to Debian 12.
It's possible. Sometimes when things shift underneath and they have to change packages, there's a bug somewhere that's exposed by a certain use case or whatever. But yeah, these things happen.
Right. But decided to switch to MX. So I only been using MX for 2 weeks, but it's been great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think MX is one of those distributions that there's always a strong release, I think, MX. So I haven't had any.
It is. Hey, and Cruz can speak to it. He's only been, he went right to MX with no problems. Got everything working.
Right out of the gate.
And then Cruz with the forum, you got help with the printer issue, right?
Right. They instructed me in regards to a few commands, which I entered into the terminal, and I got the printer working.
Fantastic. What kind of printer is it?
I mean, it was
the Canon, one of the older version Canon 2400, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, and that printer wasn't listed on MX, but it was listed on Antics, right?
Right.
But you were able to get the help through the forum.
Right. And have it squared away, sorted out.
Hey, tell them that you just let Linux delete your Windows, though, right? You just let the installer delete Windows.
Right, wipe it all out.
I've done that.
I usually unplug the hard drive before I do that.
Hey, but Cruz, was that the best decision, just to get rid of Windows?
Well, yeah, until I couldn't have antics running at the time. So I was out of a computer for a day.
It's
Oh
probably the
yeah, tell him about the problem he had with antics about with the boot load with the he had to do what was it, Cruz, you had to do some kind of thing with the grub.
The grab, right? So I got the chance to go back into the antics, get back onto the antics. So I had to do a boot repair thingy.
Ooh.
Yeah, because antics sometimes has those grub issues when you install it. And that's what he ran into, where he had to use that built-in program, right, to repair it.
Right.
Oh, that works very well, actually.
Yes, it
It
does. It does.
it worked. Hey, it worked so good for him, right? Because he thought he was going to have to take that computer to a repair shop, right? Because you know what I mean? Because the computer wasn't working at all.
You know,
The grub.
I don't even know where a computer repair shop is.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't think I even know. Jen, do you know where there's a computer repair shop around you?
Yeah, I do. I do know where two are. But
I'm
the
not
only
gonna.
reason I know two are is one of them our company uses,
Oh, okay.
and the other one I've driven by.
I say like I think the Geek Squad at Best Buy is probably the closest thing I know of a repair shop at the. Oh, you know what?
Yeah, that's the only.
There's
That's the only one I can think of.
I think there are some couple of like small. I don't think there are computer repair. Maybe they are computer repair shops. I don't know. Maybe there are. Maybe there are. And I'm just being dumb.
Yeah, I was at Best Buy, and this one poor guy, he came up to me, and I go, "What the hell happened to you? You look like you lost your best friend." And he's got a bag, from the supermarket, you know what I mean, in his hand, and a laptop in there. And he goes, "They want $200 to fix my laptop."
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I
How
mean,
expensive? How expensive are they?
Oh yeah, I'm sure
yeah,
they're expensive.
it's like I'm like $200 to fix that laptop. Give it to me, I'll fix it for you.
Sure, you can buy a new laptop for 200.
That's what he said. He goes, "Why would I put?" He was really just the poor guy was almost in tears. I was like, "Oh my God."
But hey, I would have the same response, right? The 200 could have went into a new laptop.
Right. Yeah. He's like, they want $200 to take all the data off, buy a hard drive for it. You know what I mean? Copy it all over. And they wanted like 200
Whoa.
bucks. And he's
Whoa.
like, no. And so he's standing there. I go, "Well, let me fix it for you. I can get it running again. I'm sure I can get it running."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It took me a whole 5 minutes to load up MX Linux in it.
Yeah, to install it 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So CCJ 1998. I don't know if that's the year he graduated high school or was born. He said, "Yep, computer repair guys price themselves out of the biz." Yeah, probably. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably it.
Could be.
Well, it's a catch-22. They kept going up, and the cost of computers kept going down.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, use this TV repairmans, too. You don't anymore because a new TV is what, $250 for the biggest one you want?
Yeah.
And years ago, that was not the case.
Right.
Speaking of that, I got a TV. I think it might just be a capacitor that's blown on it. I think I'm gonna see if I can repair it myself.
All
See
right.
how it goes. Worst thing there is that just I don't fix it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's already broken.
Worst thing that's there is you burn yourself with a soldering iron.
No, I do that periodically. That's kind of par for the course here in Cubicle Labs. So, or like I have a hot air thing because it gets like at 400 Celsius, and you can melt the solder right off of something with that. I may have singed myself with that once or twice. So,
Sure I would.
yeah. So actually, I was going to ask from an MX Linux perspective, do you feel like now since you're new to Linux, I'm guessing you're probably computer savvy, Mr. Cruz. So would you say though that MX Linux was the learning curve was very shallow learning curve? Like it wasn't a lot that you had to do. Like was it an easy transition for you?
Yeah, absolutely. With MX Linux, it's a smooth transition, easy to maneuver and work with.
Yeah, I think it's something to think about there. I think because I'm always like, there's the that whole idea of like a what is the best new to Linux user distribution, and I wonder if like MX Linux might have that crown right now. I don't know, because I think it's very easy. You know, the paradigm is very easy to understand. It's easy to maintain. It's easy to install. You know, there's not
Right.
a whole lot.
Hey, here's a question. Hey, Cruz, how
Yes.
user friendly is Antics?
Based on my experience, not so user friendly.
Not for
Well-
like not for a new user.
Not for a new user, more for someone that is advanced.
Yeah. The I would say like well, they're both it's kind of their shared project. MX and Antics are kind of a shared. They have a lot of the same developers working on both
Tools.
of them. Yeah.
A lot of the same tools.
Yep. But anyway, so that's very cool. Well, Cruz, I'm glad you're having a good experience with MX Linux, and I hope you continue to use it and also continue to frequent the Linux Saloon. I don't know like how this is for like where you live in the world and time and everything else.
Hey, yeah, Cruz, tell them where you're at. Are you there, Cruz?
I see his avatar.
Sorry about that. Go ahead with your question.
Where are you at in the world?
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it's probably warmer there than here.
No,
Yeah.
definitely is warmer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell us the weather in Jamaica right now.
It's fair. It's warm.
Yeah, he's not gonna rub it in our faces, I guess. That's,
Right.
You're being kind, yeah.
Yeah, we'll send you some snow.
Really.
It'll probably melt by the time it gets there, though.
It definitely will.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here, Cruz, and I'm really glad that you're having fun on your Linux journey, and I hope it continues to be a lot of fun.
Sure. Absolutely, it will.
So
I think MX Linux, I think it runs good on a slower computer.
Yep.
And I think that does help a new user also. And I think having the option to run systemd or not, I think is part of it. Not that systemd is good or bad. I think systemd does run better on the older systems for some reason.
Hey, that's another thing with MX. I noticed how quick the boot up time is and how quick it also shuts off.
Yep. Yeah.
I think my boot time is only 15 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, I believe you. Yeah.
That's the great thing right there.
yeah, that is nice, and they've done a lot to make that more efficient. I know they still use System V in it or System 5 in it.
They use if you want to switch to systemd, you can.
Yeah.
Right, you have the option.
Mhm.
But I don't know why, but for some reason I think it's SysV, I think it is they use.
Yeah.
I think that runs better on the older machines for some reason.
It could be.
I don't know if it's true or not, or is it just my experience, or maybe
Yeah,
it's
at the beginning in the boot screen, it gives you two options to go into systemd or without
Right.
systemd,
right.
which I always go in without systemd.
So I know a lot of this. I use Systemd a lot for managing a lot of like servers and whatnot. So I'd be lost probably without Systemd at this point.
For some reason, I think without the systemd, it feels faster. MX is like really fast without systemd.
It could be. That might be a good Ron question. Ron said.
Yeah, it may just be your hardware too, though.
Yeah.
I think it's more to do with your hardware than it has anything to do with anything else.
So I mean,
I like that they give you. I like that they give you the choice to boot into systemd or not to boot into it.
Right.
Yeah, that is nice. It's nice to have the option anyway.
Definitely.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Well, on that, we should probably move on to the straw poll. So if you have not yet done so, please check out the straw poll. That's kind of a review of the applications of the last year, and which one did you enjoy the most? And so if you want to knock out that straw poll at any point in time, that would be groovy, because I'm going to go ahead and dig into that right now. Oh, but first, I do want to say, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and so forth. We are on the eve of Christmas Eve. I don't know if you can do that. Can you say that? Eve of Christmas Eve? Is that fair? I don't know.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll go with it then. And so thank you all for being here. I do appreciate it. I really enjoy hanging out with my international nerd friends. So it's lots of fun. So for the straw poll, I'll go ahead and click on it right now. Hope you had a chance to vote. Where did that go? All right. As I'm waiting. Refreshing. One moment. So which application appetizer from this year did you enjoy the most? So the number one answer is Tux Penguin. Fantastic. Number two is Vim with 17. Ooh, okay, it just changed. Tux Penguin's still number one. Vim is number two. Tailscale is 3 at 11%. They like the favorite browsers, also with 11%. Ulfnix AI Extravaganza got 11% also. They like the application potlucks at 5.5%. The multi-chat clients, also 5.5%. And other, I'll have to check out what that other was here. But it said, I don't have a reply for the other, but the reply I do have is, I chose Vim, but should have picked Tailscale. That probably had the biggest impact of anything I've tried this year. So I would agree. I think that Vim, not Vim, Tailscale made the biggest difference with me and has actually saved my rear several times. So anyway, any thoughts on that, Jinda? Does that surprise you that Tux Penguin pulled out a substantial lead at now a third of the votes?
Actually, that's pretty much what I was going to pick until I read through them again to make sure that I didn't miss anything, and then Ufnik was nice enough to do his AI extravaganza, and that for me was amazing. He outdid himself. I thought he did a great job with that one.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Hopefully he's able to get that back up. And there was some a few little issues with I can't remember exactly what it was. Something with it was being misused in some way. They had to protect himself in the server and whatnot. So I know that we may be seeing that again at some point in time.
Okay.
All right, so I think we're just gonna go back in time here. I think remember all the way back to February 11th. There's some applications here, and one of those applications was actually presented by you, Jinda.
Whoa, really? Wow.
The PCM emulator.
Oh, that's a blast. That's a fun one.
Is that something you still use today?
Every once in a blue moon, I get bored and do try to play with it again.
Yeah.
I will admit that. I think for me, it's fun to play with. I'm not really a big gamer, but I do love trying to get them to work.
Yeah, I think it's definitely fun. I've not used that one, but I've used other emulators like just DOSBox or whatever it's called now,
yeah.
DOSBox Reloaded or DOSBox. I don't know what it's called at this point. But what I had fun with that was running Windows 3.1.
Yeah.
And I was actually able to have it utilize my file system too, so I could actually edit text files and everything else on Windows 3.1, within my Linux system. So that was kind of fun. And then I did the hot dog theme, and that was terrible. I laughed the entire time. Who the hot dog theme is? It's like red. It's like mustard yellow and ketchup red. The entire thing.
Yes.
It's terribly charming or something like that.
Very McDonald's like.
Yeah. So anyway, that was fun. So Colin isn't here, but he said he couldn't make it. But he had a couple of suggestions here. I don't know if anybody was using these Cherry Tree or Joplin, but those were I think I've been meaning to check out Joplin again, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Or Joplin. I've been using Simple Note. And I kind of feel like I think I need to use something else because I occasionally just need a picture in there and I can't do that with simple notes. So I think that's something I have to probably look into. And then Mark, he brought up something called KeyPass XC. Actually, a couple times he did, but this is when he first brought it up. And there's a lot of people who used KeyPass XC. I don't know if that's something. Have you guys used that, or are you still using it?
No, I never used that
No.
one.
I can't type. Yeah, I just been using Bitwarden primarily. And then that same month, the same show, Vince brought up visualtraceroute.net. I can't remember what that was exactly.
I don't remember that one at all. I remember all the other ones, but that one.
I don't remember that one either. Oh, it's to trace where you're to visualize your network, where things are hopping to around the world, and maybe it does local stuff too. I don't know. That's pretty cool. Adam, he's not here either this week, but he brought up VS Code. So that was pretty. That's something I use on the occasion. I need to probably dig into a lot more, but that was pretty cool. How he different things that he did. Anybody here using VS Code? Ron, are you a VS Code user? Oh, you're muted.
Muted.
So Ron, you're muted in Zoom.
You're muted, Ron. I don't know if I can unmute him.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, there you go.
You said something. It sounded great, and then I didn't hear it, and I felt like I missed it.
Two streams.
happens.
No, I don't use VS Code. I'm just a user, pretty much.
Okay.
No programming. Last programming was probably back in '81. Yeah.
Okay. I hear you.
DBase 2.
For me, yeah, Commodore 64 Basic. Was not the, or I guess that'd be Microsoft Basic technically. that was the 80s era stuff that I used. Then something
Commodore was my first computer.
if you look
Commodore
behind me,
64.
you see that behind me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I adore my 64. That's for sure. So Scrap, he hasn't been here in a while, but he brought up something that I used for quite a while. FreeCAD Real Thunder. It was a snap, and it would allow you to do like assemblies and whatnot. It had a lot of problems with FreeCAD were kind of worked out with it. That was a really great.
Yeah, that makes FreeCAD usable.
Yeah, and so I used that. Although I started having problems with it. Like there was an update that came down, and then I used the regular FreeCAD again. And anyway, but that was a good one. I used that for quite a while. Eris brought up qBittorrent. I don't know if you torrent many things, but I never use qBittorrent. I just been using the whatever's default in Plasma. I don't even know right now.
Right, I use the default here too.
KTorrent. I'm sure qBittorrent's better.
Probably.
Oh, and so this is a really good one, and actually this one changed my my terminal life. So I have to thank Ilfnik for this one. He told me about Micro. It's an editor terminal like Nano or Vim. He brought up Micro by Plan 9. So I love Micro. I install it now on all my systems, the ones I manage remotely. I absolutely use Micro over anything else. So for me, no more Vim, no more Nano. It's now Micro. And it's great because it gives you actually line numbers you're on. Control S is actually save. Control Q quits. Things like that. It's like the shortcuts are great. So that's something.
Okay.
That's something that I use today.
It's a
And-
little more intuitive.
I think so. The only thing
Okay.
that doesn't work is like the middle click paste. I don't know if you ever use that, but I'm a big middle click paste kind of guy. So for whatever reason, the clipboard does not work for middle click paste on micro, and that's a little bit annoying. But I'll take all the other benefits. And Anna Rita, that that show, she also brought up a bunch of applications. Some of those being Calibre, the ebook viewer. She did, and then there's also the Kobo desktop, which I didn't try that one, but I'm sure if Annie uses it, it's got to be tip top, got to be like the best ever, right? And she also uses KeyPass XC and Evolution for contacts and Electron Mail. And some other things that I haven't tried either. The Streamio, don't know what that is. Ducky TV and Proton VPN. So I think those might be some services. I don't know. Anyway, so I always appreciate any contributions that people kick in from that. The next application appetizer we had was on 11th of March, and that was when we tried something called Zulip. Remember that? It's it's kind of like a Slack or something like that. I set up a Linux Saloon Zulip room and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't used it since.
Same here.
Yeah. It was fun while it lasted, I think. But I think it's just one too many chat clients, I think. Yeah. So there's that. And then we had a guest come on and talk about JSketcher. I don't know if you remember that. We got a whole.
Oh, yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, we got a whole demonstration on JSketcher. I used it for quite a few things. It works pretty well, and it's still being developed, so that's pretty cool. It runs in your web browser. It runs locally, and I thought it was pretty great.
It
And,
actually
it's-
worked very well, actually.
Yeah, it's a very good, very well done CAD application for sure. The next time we did an application appetizer, I believe it was a potluck. I believe we got a whole bunch of different applications that were thrown. The first one here, it was something called Tagger. I don't remember that. It's for it's a flat pack. I believe it was for tagging MP. What is it? I think it was tagging your music. So
Right.
you can add the tags, album art, and so forth. So that was pretty cool. I used to be really big into like tagging, making sure all my music was just right. And then I lost a hard drive, and then I haven't gone back since and fixed everything. So yeah, what can you do? Should have backed my stuff up. This is from Alfnick. Something called I should say. Before I go to that, does anybody here use Tagger for tagging their music?
No.
Yeah, I think it's still a good. If you want to tag your stuff, that's probably a good way to go. So another application was Tesseract. It was a command tool that does optical character recognition for like OCR, and I thought that was an Ulfnick one. I remember that. So that was pretty cool. So and he gave us some instructions for doing it with X11 and then Wayland with WL roots. I never actually used any of that.
Okay.
The only time I ever use OCR is when I have to. Now this would be handy for a lot of things actually, but I've used OCR for like if I scan a PDF and then I use it to kind of clean it up. That's pretty cool.
Right.
Let's see here. I'm gonna probably skip a few of these. Some different. You guys use any? What do you use as like a text editor? Probably what's ever default in MX. I don't even know what's default in MX.
Usually it's Featherpad.
Featherpad.
Yeah, Featherpad. Yes.
What
I
about
use
you?
Nano.
Nano. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use Nano too.
I
Yeah,
like.
it's easy. It's that easy. No thinking required.
Yeah, I like Kate, the Plasma application. Kind of my jam. I think I find that, and then yeah, I talked about earlier about micro for terminal. And something else that was brought up for note taking. It looks like, well, not note taking, but file synchronization. This might have been me. I know I've talked about it quite a few times, but SyncThing. Do you guys use SyncThing? Anybody here use SyncThing?
No, sorry.
All right. So I'm going to give you the sales pitch for SyncThing. Oh, wait, first I do have to say that CCJ 1998 says Kate here too. So all right, so we're Kate brothers, I guess. Okay, so SyncThing is basically it's a serverless way of backing up your documents or whatever your files are to another machine without requiring, without requiring a server. Basically, you don't have to be on the same network. Even you can relay and do this. So I use SyncThing for basically synchronizing all the files on my different systems. It's like this system here that I'm using right now. I have SyncThing on this, and it synchronizes to my different machines in the house. So I could actually lose any one of these machines, or actually any few of these machines, and I would still have all my data because it's actively syncing back and forth. So there's some times when like I'll work on something here, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be out here anymore. I'm tired. I want to go relax in the house. And so I'll just save it, and by the time I get back to my house, everything's been synchronized, and I can pick up the laptop and I can keep going. It's great. I truly think SyncThing is one of the coolest applications you can use for keeping files synchronized between machines. So works great in MX Linux. I use it there as well. It works. It doesn't work great in Windows. So Cruise, if you plan on going back to Windows anytime soon, it doesn't work great for that. But works great. Works great in Linux. So I use it. I use it all the time. So like my main server, it synchronizes everything with SyncThing as well, and that's how I back everything up. So I want to add another node back here, like basically backs up everything on the server. So I have basically redundancy between my server and whatnot. But just haven't gotten there yet. So yeah, check out SyncThing if you need a backup solution. It's not a backup. If you need a synchronization solution, SyncThing is great. And also it does keep some history as well, which can be problematic if you do a lot of file changes and you get a bunch of those. You may have to clear them out after some time. Like if you push your data drives a little bit heavier than you should, then that'll be a problem. I think once I started doing content creation, that became a problem because you make a change, saves a copy, make a change, saves a copy, and it's great when you need it, but it's not great when you don't need it, I guess. If that makes any sense. So, yep, SyncThing. All right. Something that I know I brought this up because I guarantee there's nobody else that uses it besides me, even though I've been using it for years. Something called, for taking notes, so like a Joplin or whatever, but this is just all local or however you want to do it, and I use SyncThing to back all this up. But TiddlyWiki. TiddlyWiki is like a little personal wiki file that you can keep on your, keep it on a flash drive, on your hard drive, or wherever you want. You can keep it on a Google Drive, any drive of your choice, and you can basically edit notes in your browser. It does require an extension to make it work. Not a big deal, but anyway. So TiddlyWiki is a pretty great note-taking application. I've been using it for 11 years now. So it's a big file now, I guess is what I'm gonna get at. But like, I use it for just like, when I have keep quick notes on something, I'll throw it in there. If I'm a little bit ADD-ish, so it's nice to basically if I go down the path for a while on something, and then I have a bunch of web browser tabs open, I'll basically put all that stuff into the TiddlyWiki with some notes in there. Then I come back to it later when whenever I need to come back to it. So anyway, so TiddlyWiki, it's a great little thing. A friend of mine, actually a local friend of mine, he turned me onto it, and I've been basically using it ever since. You can do also like JavaScript automations and whatnot. He uses it for managing projects and whatnot. His looks quite different than mine. Mine's just a very simple note taker. His is a His looks like an application in and of itself.
Oh, okay.
So it's very, very extensible, as the kids might call it. And I'm still using it almost daily. All right, another application that was presented was something called FreeTube. So the freetubeapp.io. I don't remember this one at all. I certainly didn't.
Neither do I.
Okay, so it is a private YouTube client. So my guess is you probably can't like and maybe you can subscribe to things. Yeah, you can subscribe to things. We probably can't like and comment, and that's probably my favorite part about YouTube is liking and commenting on stuff. That's probably why I haven't used something like that. But if you don't like to like or comment, then this might be a great choice for you. Oh, I do remember this one. So I'm not sure what tools are there in MX Linux, but I do feel like Plasma kind of ripped this off. Something called Stacer. It's a really neat way of visualizing like system stuff, I guess.
Oh, Stacer, yeah.
Yeah,
That is really nice.
Stacer's pretty cool. But you can see like it gives you like nice gauges for CPU, memory, disk space, and so forth. And it's a real neat tool. So I actually have to make a little note of that. I think I'm going to check that one out again, just because I think it's got some neat features in it. It might be useful for other things. But yeah, Stacer. Anybody here use Stacer? You said Jinder, do you use Stacer?
Yeah, I've used it in the past.
Yeah. Ron?
I've used it.
Never. I only use NeoFetch and INXI.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should check it out. It's pretty cool. It's got some neat visualizations.
Yeah, great graphics.
Mm-hmm. So this next one here, I wish I would have had a little over 10 years ago. It would have been fantastic. Something called Metadata Cleaner. I was in a situation. Let's just call it an interesting employment time when I needed to clean a lot of metadata off of things. We'll just leave it at that. And so this is a really neat application for cleaning up metadata. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yep. That's a neat one. So if you need to kind of maybe sanitize your files, as it were, make sure it's not gathering information that you don't want to share before you send something out because you don't want it to come back to you, might be a valuable tool. So, yep.
I always use the other one. What's it called? BleachBit?
Isn't that
Yeah, BleachBit.
Isn't that for like cleaning your drive, that like wiping out?
That's like a system cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a system
as opposed
cleaner.
to a file cleaner.
Right.
Well, like let's say, okay, so like for the metadata cleaner, let's say you put together a spreadsheet that has information that you don't want to have, you want to send to somebody, but you don't want it to somehow get back to you, essentially.
Okay.
That's why you would use that, because you don't want to have anything that says, now, this is created by Jinda, on this system, on this date, and whatever else. So you can actually wipe that stuff out.
Oh, okay. I get you.
At the time, actually, I sent the date because I didn't have a metadata clean at the time. So actually, I sent it to a lawyer I trusted to have them sanitize it, because they had that sort of thing and whatnot. Yeah. So I can tell you about it offline, or not streaming. I won't talk about it on here. For legal reasons, I still don't want to talk about it, even though it's been 10 years. It was a fun time. So another application that was brought up, something called draw.io. And if this is like for creating like graphs, diagrams, things like that. of like Dia or
Yeah, that's pretty
Visio.
cool.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. So if you have to create like a demonstrate how your network goes together or whatever, this might be a great way to go.
Yeah, like a flow chart.
Yeah, or like a process flow chart. When this breaks,
Yeah.
check this troubleshooting. That's pretty cool. It's actually really amazing that
Interesting.
that's a free application. So I don't know if my guess is no one here is using it. So another another application. I'll just go through all these that was talked about. So I use LibreOffice primarily, but I do have this installed. It's called FreeOffice. It works pretty well. It's not. I don't know. Like I should like it more than I do, but I just don't. Like it works great for the spreadsheet application on there just is missing some functions that even LibreOffice has. And that's kind of the reason I don't really use that so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks real sweet.
Yeah, it does. It's a very nice looking application. So yes, CCJ, so many applications, so little time. And also you got to try something when it's organic. You don't want to jam it in. Well, actually you can jam some things in just to try out, but like, yeah, it's good to have one you have a need and you can fill it. That's actually why I like these talking about applications, because sometimes I could use that, for something. For sure.
Definitely.
Yep. And then something I use a lot called Conqueror. It used to be the file manager and default web browser for the KDE world, and I still use it sometimes. Like when I have an application, when I have like I had to do some upgrades to these Aruba access points, and they were, I upgraded to like wireless N. I think that's like they all talk basically to each other, so like they'll do like handoffs, so when you go from one part to another part of the, like when I go from out here to the house, it'll hand the wireless signal off or whatever to the nearest radio and such. So pretty cool. Yep. CCJ. It does take me back to the Mandrake days too. In fact, that's when I first used it, and I thought it was great, even though it was not always great. But I like Conquer because it doesn't follow all the security rules of like Chrome and Firefox. So when something just doesn't have like a screwy certificate, it'll still allow you to access it. And that I think is pretty great. So I was able to actually do the upgrades to this so that I actually had proper certificates and everything else. But I could not do that with Firefox or Chromium. It would not work, or Edge. I had to use Conqueror. So Conqueror is great for certain little edge cases. Also, a really neat feature of Conqueror that I think is absolutely fantastic. And there's some other things you can use for this too. But it'll do like a file system view. Like if you want to look at a folder, you know, like a file system view. It'll break down your folders into like how much space each of them are taking, so you can visually see how much space is being taken up and by what. And it's really neat to see, like when let's say you push your file systems kind of to the max, and you need to clean things up. That can help you find, what you can clean up and pick off some low hanging fruit, delete it, or archive it or whatever. So it's really pretty handy for that. So yeah, Conqueror is pretty great. Still is. So. Yeah, and then a month later in May, we had a couple of things we talked about. The first was Veracrypt. I don't know if anybody uses Veracrypt still, or at all. Anybody hear that use Veracrypt?
No.
So,
No.
so Veracrypt, it's pretty great. It's a nice user interface, but you can like basically set up encrypted vaults with it, or volumes, and allows you to up to 64 encrypted volumes. I would call them a vault, but whatever. And it's pretty cool for like if, let's say, like most things on my file system, I don't think they would compromise me necessarily. So it's like I don't have them encrypted. I don't encrypt. I don't do complete encryption of my systems because I have lost data due to me encrypting things before, and like an entire file system. And so I'm a little leery of that. I'm sure it's just like an old curmudgeon-y thing that is nonsense, and I should probably just grow up and put on my big boy pants and encrypt my drives. But instead, what I do is things like Veracrypt, or actually I use KDE vaults, and that allows me to basically mount a volume that's encrypted. So like specific documents that I want to make sure are encrypted, I can put in there. And it actually makes it even a little bit more obscure, really, because you have to know how to find the vault, mount the vault, decrypt the vault, and everything else too. So I like those. So things like Veracrypt or KDE vaults, I think is a great tool for encrypting your most sensitive information. But like pictures, I don't want to encrypt the pictures because like I don't have any pictures that are worth encrypting. I don't take those kind of selfies, if you know what I mean. So and so I don't need to encrypt anything. So anyway,
Well, apparently you do work out, so
I do work out, but I don't take those kind of selfies. So
I thought this just came naturally. I don't know.
yeah. So anyway, and like pictures of my kids and whatnot. I don't want to lose that stuff. I'd rather make sure it's more accessible, not than not. So anyway, but yeah.
Well, being a Linux Mint fanboy, like I'm using mostly LMD 5 and 6. They give you a choice of encrypting the home directory, so that's kind of what I've been defaulting into for years now.
Okay.
And I didn't notice much of a slowdown, really.
Yeah, you probably won't.
And necessarily that means all pictures, everything in home is encrypted. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern is like if let's say something gets corrupted and you need to recover data because you didn't back things up or whatever, and although that's not an issue anymore, I really don't have any excuses for why I don't encrypt other than I don't. So if you break into my house and you grab a computer, you're going to get the data. Don't break into my house though.
Well, that's my fear, especially with traveling. Throughout a week, I would be using about 6 or 7 computers, depending on where I'm at, even in my house. I have one dedicated to traveling to my dad's joint, one for my basement, one for the main floor, one for my office, and one just, going cottage or something. And I'm always afraid of, in a hotel or something like that, somebody takes off with your machine.
That's a good point. Maybe makes more sense for laptops, less sense for desktops, maybe.
Yeah, desktops,
maybe. Yeah.
And this is a bad habit of mine because I would just clone the drives and put it in different machines. So I'm taking everything that's me and my life everywhere. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably smart. Maybe I should probably rethink my ways. Probably should.
Yeah, there's a white paper, I think it was on Ubuntu's main site, saying that encrypting the entire drive, entire volume, is CPU-wise less taxing than encrypting just the home. And they gave some technical mumbo-jumbo about reasons why. But even on ancient machines, I mean, I rock an X220 everywhere I go. Yeah.
Nice.
And that's 12. Yikes. Yeah. So 12 years old last month. Yeah.
Do you have a
but
birthday?
in computer terms, that's 1,000 years old.
That's it's forever. But I need the 7-row keyboard. I can't deal with the newer keyboards much. So yeah.
So no 6 rows for you?
Oh, I tried so hard. I can't.
Yeah.
It's like the track point.
I got you.
Gotta have the track point.
I didn't see did it have a track point on there? I didn't see the track point.
Oh.
Oh
Oops.
yeah.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, it
Okay,
does.
cool. I was like, 'cause I didn't. Usually they're red on not gray like that.
That's because I'm using I'm actually on a T520 right now, and that's got a 12-year-old webcam. So yeah, colors are not necessarily
Oh,
rendered
okay.
at the
Oh, okay. I gotcha. All right.
right hue and all that type of thing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're laying down. Makes sense. That's cool. Yeah, I think there's probably some. Yeah, probably best to encrypt your stuff. I guess it slows down the bad guys. I guess bad actors. So another another talk we had application was Vim. Again, it was it's a Vim tutor, Vim/Vim tutor, and that was so we had like a bunch of different links to different ways of like learning Vim and how it all works and some customization things and so forth. Vimium, that was interesting too. Like a the hacker's browser, whatever. So you can use basically there's the Vim commands within Chrome, Edge, or Firefox. So if you really want to get all in on Vim, there's your way to do it, I guess. So in June, I think we had a demo from Ulfnick on AI. That was quite intensive. They gave all
awesome.
kinds of I don't know, like demonstrations on doing I can do images and you can configure them by giving either different values or different inputs and whatnot. That was very cool. So unfortunately he's not here to maybe follow up on a lot of that. But he gave a lot of links, a lot of resources and so forth. He set up a server for us to do the playing and that was pretty intense, I thought. I spent a lot of time playing with it. The other thing too is like the self-hosted speech to text that you can do with the AI as well. And that I think is, I will say that I would love for my home assistant, my home automation system, to talk back to me in Majel Barrett's voice, who is the voice of the Enterprise computer on Star Trek: The Next Generation. That would be
Absolutely.
that would be the ultimate for me. Like if I could hear that voice every day, I would be in a happy place. That would make my life better, I think. But anyway, so that was pretty amazing. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you could there's enough voice of hers you could sample to create, I think, enough that you could do that sort of thing. I'm sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe most excitingly, the application I think that we probably had the most fun playing with, I think, or what? Okay, the application that I think I am most excited about the entire year was Tailscale. So Tailscale is it's a zero trust virtual local area network, essentially, is what you can build. So for instance, I have various machines on Tailscale, and if I'm on another network someplace else, I can access those machines no matter where I am, as though they're on a local area network, which is great because that means like if for whatever reason, if I have a file, like not all of my directories are backed up, but like so certain like my downloads directory on this computer but is like not synchronized because that'd be just silly. But if I need to access something on a specific machine, I can do that remotely no matter where I am. And so the idea there is then I can actually set up specific services. So like my like I have a media streaming server. I can use that no matter where I am because it's on this Tailscale network. And I think that is really very cool. So there's all kinds of fun ways you can utilize that. So yeah, if you need to have access to your home network or specific machines, maybe have a machine someplace else that you want to be able to like at your a family member's house, and sometimes you need to get in there to do IT support type activities. You can use Tailscale as kind of another way of bridging different things. Yeah, so it's pretty awesome.
And it's Canadian.
Is it Canadian?
Yeah, Toronto.
Oh, sweet.
It's America's top hat. So Code 2610 says I use 0-tier. I don't know that one. I use the same kind of thing. I don't really know much about that. But I wonder how difficult that is to set up. But Tailscale is super easy to set up. Barely an inconvenience. You just you follow the little you run the little scripts. You goes through the process. It's worked on everything that I've installed it on so far. But yeah, Tailscale, pretty awesome. Total game changer. Say it's literally I've lost count of the number of times it's saved my rear. Like I've lost count. I've literally it helped me yesterday on Thursday numerous times. So just because it's able to because I have it connected to certain machines, I don't want to say exactly how, but I have it the way I have it configured. I am able to do IT support tech functions very easily and seamlessly, no matter where I am, and that's frankly amazing. So I love it. It's just absolutely wonderful. Tailscale, check it out. You can have up to 100 devices without paying anything for it.
Wow.
There's I think something similar. There's like there are a few other it uses the same technology, but instead of using the Tailscale network, it's Headscale. It's an alternative backend that's completely free and open source. So you can set that up yourself. Something called Headscale. All right, and then at that same time, I think Eric Adams brought out something called Moonlight. I can't remember what that was. It was some sort of what was that? Moonlight stream. Oh, it's that NVIDIA's game stream client.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can,
I
you can
remember that.
stream your games to another device. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, I tried that once. It was actually kind of neat.
It's a neat way of I think if you're clever, you could probably use that for remote management too. At least the technology.
Maybe you could.
Oh, then in August we talked about multi-chat clients, and this one I think was a pretty. This one was beneficial to me. So I use something called Franz. It's like Rambox, I believe. No, not Franz. Ferdium. I use Ferdium. My bad. And so I use that, and I have multiple things in there. I start out with just having like SMS and like Discord, because Discord I think is garbage. Sorry if you like Discord, but I absolutely loathe Discord. It literally kicks my butt all the time. And I use Ferdium to have Discord, which is basically just the web client of Discord, but I don't have to worry about updating it. And then I added things like Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and Mastodon, and then also different forums in there as well. So right now here on this machine, I threw Home Assistant in there. I have the router, that my cellular router thingy where I get my wide area network stuff. I have that as a thing basically in Ferdium, and then also Octoprint, so I can access my 3D printer, remotely. Pi-hole, so I can monitor all the the DNS filtration I don't really need that, but I do it anyway. And then, I have a Christmas light show on my house right now, and so I can monitor that as well, or access it through this. And then, of course, SMS. And then also like the OpenSUSE forums. So I expanded its usage. So basically, any kind of tabs I would normally had pinned in Firefox, I basically moved them all to this, and then it made it actually really nice. It kind of cleaned up my browser activities. Like it made me less messy. Like I had so many pinned tabs, it was just ridiculous. But now this is kind of like, it kind of pulled all those things out. It's like the Tux Digital forum and so forth. And then also added a simple note, which is pretty nice. So anyway, Ferdium has been great. It's probably one of the best things that I've added to my regular usage, like my desktop usage. I think it's probably uses Chromium based or whatever that web rendering engine is. Not Blink. Maybe it's Blink. I know whatever they call it. But that's probably what it uses. It seems to identify itself like Chrome. Anyway. So the other ones that were options out there too is Franz, Rambox, and also Pigeon for multi-chat clients. And yeah, I don't know if anybody uses any of those, but if not, might be pretty handy. And we did that back in August 5th. We had that chat. And you can also Rambox does cost money. So does Wavebox. And they require accounts. I didn't like that as much.
You're referring to text chatting mostly? Or
yes, that's what
audio?
I think that's all what was initially used. Like that's the original. That's originally what I think it was used for. Like originally, like that was its focus. But because it uses the web clients of things, you can do more than just that. So
Voice, video, and all that.
Yep. Yeah, you can watch. I mean, you could make YouTube a tab in there if you wanted to, or an application, whatever. But like it's handy just basically to be able to click. If I do like a social media post, like I hate social media, so it makes it kind of takes that barrier of like the resistance to like log into something because it's already there. So it kind of takes a little bit of resistance down, so I can like make a post or whatever. But yeah, I think social media is very painful for me lately. I don't know. Maybe I'll get over it someday. I need to talk to somebody about it. And maybe Jenna can talk me off the edge. It's not that I mean, I don't know why. To me, it's just a chore. Everything social media to me is just such a chore. Just chore. Well, and then in September, we had an application advertised where we talked about browser extensions, and this I thought was very valuable. So some different just some different browser extensions that I didn't know about, but and some I did. Well, like Dark Reader. I don't know if you use Dark Reader. That was a very popular one that we talked about.
Yep. I use Dark Reader.
The something called Stylus, which I didn't end up using afterwards, and I'm not sure why. Anyway, the Auto Tab Discard, the Bitwarden Password Manager, Facebook Container. That was a very also popular one. The uBlock Origin. Simple tab groups, cookie auto delete, stuff like that. Lots of different extensions that people used. Are there any extensions here that you use on the regular, Ron?
I've got number one with the bullet, auto tab discard, because I'm a big fan of having 691 tabs
Okay, so
open
you got
on
the
this
same
browser
problem I
session.
do. Yeah.
So that's pretty handy. And I have another one. It's an oddball, I think. Custom scroll bar.
Okay.
Yeah, customize the colors and the width and that sort of thing on Firefox, just to have like a visual aid for me, differentiating one browser session from another, that sort of thing. Yeah, easy download, easy YouTube Video Downloader Express.
Oh, okay.
I hardly ever use that, but yeah, NordVPNs, uBlock, and Cisco WebEx. I use that a lot. So
For work, I'm guessing.
yeah, and some relatives in the public sector, they seem to be very Cisco happy. So yeah, that's all they ever talk.
Yeah.
But I use Skype, I use Teams, I use WhatsApp,
Hmm.
Facebook, and Cisco Sessions. So it's pretty nasty. That's
Yeah.
why I was interested in knowing about a tool that does audio, video, chatting,
Okay.
one app to fit them all.
Yep. That Ferdium does that pretty well, actually.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You can
Never
use
heard of
Teams in
that.
that as well, but I actually I run Teams app separate because reason being is like if I click on something from Outlook, which is not Outlook, it's called something else. It's basically it's an Outlook client that it's a web wrapper. I can't remember the name of it right now. I'm gonna look at. Okay, hold on. It is called Prospect Mail. There we go. And so I use that for Outlook on Linux. And if I click on like a meeting link, like in an email, I want to be able to send it to the Teams application. And I need and I use that. I use something called Junction to do that, which I don't think it's not one of the not one of the app. I don't think it's one of the applications that we talked about.
No.
But so Junction allows. So I click on a link. It allows me to choose what application it goes to. So like if I click on a link like in my email, and if it's I can have it go to Firefox or Chrome or Edge or whatever, and so it's a nice way for me to like direct my traffic. And I added Teams on there as one of those applications. When I click on a link that's for Teams, I can then send it to Teams, and then it'll open up there, as opposed to opening up in a web.
So you basically wind up with a pick list of destinations?
Yep, exactly.
Oh, wow.
So it makes it very nice for like sorting my web traffic basically to what I want it to go to. And so that's why I use that, because I couldn't really have it go into Ferdium into a specific container or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of why I did it that way.
Nice.
It just made my life just a little bit easier.
What is it called again?
Which one? The
helper app?
Oh, it's called Junction.
The one that Junction.
Junction, yeah. It's a flat pack that I run. It's pretty great. I highly recommend it. I think somebody brought it up.
Dang, that is nice.
Yeah. It's made managing multiple lives on a single machine a lot cleaner. So there are some drawbacks. I wrote an article on it on cubicleinate.com that I'm trying to push my website or self promote. But I do have an article about how I utilize it and then some of what works well and what doesn't work as well, basically with it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and then in October we had we talked about the rise of the Althanic AI. I think I maybe confused the June and the October one in the discussion, but we can go ahead and confuse it some more. But it was actually that's where he set up Stable Diffusion and forced family friendly generation only and so forth. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And he gave his demonstration. It was the second demonstration he gave, because he gave a demonstration the other time too. And that was a pretty cool one. I use it for generating some artwork, and just I needed something that had different features in it, and it was kind of almost dystopian looking, but it worked, and I got what I needed out of it. But I don't know. AI, I don't know if it's good or bad or indifferent. It's one of those like tools that can be used for good or for evil. I think it may. I'm concerned that if the culture is sick, that bad things will come of it. But if the culture is not sick, then I think it'll be fine.
I'm so looking forward to 20 years from now when I'm in my mid 80s and I get those phone calls.
that you can't.
The AI assisted, well, the all AI calls coming at me.
Yeah. 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 Those robocalls, sometimes they get me. And like
I sing.
oh, you sing to them?
Yes.
That's good.
It's a great way to get a hang up.
Anything in particular? Like, do you like something, the
Yeah,
Beatles?
well, rude. Well, in some circles, Ted Nugent tunes, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that'd be good.
Yeah,
Cat Scratch Fever or
I
Fred
like
Bear.
Ted Nugent, so
Yeah.
hey,
Well, that's understandable.
it sounds really awful coming from me too.
Oh, okay.
Hey, but hey, does that get rid of them though? Does it get rid of them? Do they hang right up?
Oh, yeah. They're gone before I even get to the second bar of whatever.
That's beautiful. I think that's a great way to go. I like to. I'll do like Yellow Submarine sometimes. You know.
Does that work?
No.
You're
But-
too good a singer, maybe.
No, they just. Well, there was a robot call that I got about like what was it? I can't remember what it was, but like consolidating debt, and I'm like, I don't have any debt. Like, well, great news. They kept going on like, no, this is, I don't have any debt, and besides my mortgage, and they like just went on and on. Like, okay, obviously you're not human. Click, you know. Actually, it was click, not click, but you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was actually like I thought it was a real person, but they were obviously not a real person. I don't know. I think they need to go back to like actual people doing these calls, because then you can actually have a conversation. I think the robot calls, I think, are just annoying. I don't want some AI or some machine trying to sell me something. I want a human to try and sell me something.
Hey, it would be nice if the do not call list that you can register your phone number actually would work.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think the problem is when you actually register on those lists, that somehow the not part falls off.
Or they must be do call this number then.
Exactly. I mean, I'll take like, people from foreign lands calling me over robot call, because you can at least have a conversation with them, you know. Like I miss the days
Right.
when I had foreigners calling me. Now it's all robots, and it's just no good. No good. Well, we're almost at the end here. So in November, we had a conversation, a bunch of conversations, I guess to say, but there was a couple of neat applications that I didn't use all of these, but there's something called Disk, D-Y-S-K. It's a terminal-based app to look at storage that I thought was pretty handy. So I did end up using this one once. It's just a nice visual using ASCII looking, I don't want to say art, but terminal art, I guess, terminal
Yeah.
characters. So that was very useful. I like it. So you can DYSK. Then another one, which I never actually ended up using, but I thought it was neat. Sounded neat. It was More, MOAR, which is like more, MORE, but it was used for syntax highlighting. Like when you look at something, if you use more, if you pipe it through more. So I thought that was pretty cool. A neat idea anyway. I never actually used it. And
It's an inspired name.
yeah. And I didn't use this one either, but maybe I should actually check it out at some point in time. Something called, it's an EXA or EZA. It's a prettier LS function in the terminal. So if you want to make your listing stuff in the terminal look prettier, it's another way to go. And check that out, EZA.
Yeah, I did try that one. That one was actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Version 0.17.0 on OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. So there we go. See, snuck it in there. And then I did try this one out. I think I brought this one up. So if you want like remote management of kind of like RDP sort of or whatever, but it's an RMM tool. Rust Desk. Not
Oh,
sure
this
if
was
you,
really good.
yeah, Rust Desk is pretty great. Also, it has experimental Wayland support, so you can actually use it with Wayland systems. If you have Wayland display system, then it should work with that.
Yeah, I've been playing with that a lot actually. It was really good.
Yeah. So it's like a competitor to TeamViewer or
AnyDesk.
AnyDesk or Splashtop, any of those.
Yeah,
So
I think it worked better than all of them. Well, it looked so similar to AnyDesk though.
yeah, it does. But with like larger buttons.
Yeah.
So I don't know if AnyDesk supports Wayland yet or not.
I don't think so. And their application is itchy on my Raspberry Pi for some reason. Every
Itchy?
once in a while, they make a dud.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I had a hard time with the Raspberry Pi too. It worked fine on an x86 based systems, but I had it was like hit and miss. Like it logged in, but then it just kind of like it stopped.
Yeah, if you went back in time and started downloading older ones, all of a sudden you would get one that would work, but a newer
okay.
one wouldn't. You know, that kind of thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, no. And then when I switched to this one, because you mentioned it, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Very happy with it.
And it was Schickel that brought up this, I thought was pretty cool, something called Boat Swan. So if you have a Steam Deck, not Steam Deck, Stream Deck, like an interface system, like a panel, like a software-defined button system, kind of Star Trek-y in my mind, as far as like software configured buttons. This was a Boat Swan is it's an app that you can get on a flat pack that you can actually utilize and configure the the different profiles and whatnot, and put custom icons on there, control your music, control OBS, and so forth. I'm this close to getting a Stream Deck just because I think it'd be handy for when I do these live streams. So anyway, yeah, that was very, very cool, and it's nice to know that it exists, for sure. Anybody here have any need for such a thing besides me?
Sorry, Nate. Not really.
Oh, Steve's very own. Merry Christmas to you too. Your very first retired Christmas. I wonder what does that look like, a retired Christmas? Sounds delightful.
It's all good. It sounds all good to me.
Yeah. That kind of sounds a little scary to me. Yeah, no, I'd probably fill my time with something. All right, and then Jinda, you provided this one. This was a great one that I ended up utilizing a few times. Angry IP
Oh, this
scanner.
is one of my favorites. Yeah, this is a real good one to have.
I'm not sure why it was angry, but it works great.
I don't know either, but
I was not angry after using it. So that came in handy a few times. Like for me, just I had to like find a thing, and this is what I used to find it. And yeah, fantastic tool. angryip.org. So, how did you find this one?
How did I find it? Because one day I was sitting here and I go, what is my IP address for my Raspberry Pi that I have plugged, I don't know, 5 feet away from me and I'm too lazy to get up? But it really wasn't that. That was me saying, how could I find it? You know what I mean? How could I find my Raspberry Pi without getting up? You know what I mean? Even though I could just walk over there and go get it. So I went online and I started searching I go, there has to be some way to do this. So I asked my sister and she goes, oh, use Wireshark, which is a great program, but that's kind of like using, a battleship when you need to use a rowboat. You know what I mean? It's just so humongous. And I'm like, okay, I don't need that. And then for some reason, when I was searching in Google, I came across it and found out that was really cool and I loved using it.
For sure. Yeah, for me it was great because I just needed to do one simple thing. I needed to find the IP address of a thing, and it found it, and I could go on with life and living. So it's simple to use. It's a great, easy interface. Not a lot of features, but if you need a lot of features, then you don't use Angry IP Scanner, use something else.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a great tool, and I see that there's others that have used that tool too. This is J Lee, I think, or JLL. I don't know if that's a 2 L's or an L and an I. But it's been using that one for years. Good one. Absolutely. It is a good one. Oh, and then AnyDesk came in as a remote desktop client application that was brought up. Maybe also brought up by you, Jinda. I don't know.
Probably did, because that's the one I used to use till you told me to use Rust.
Yeah, I should check that one out again. I actually have it installed for work purposes, but I haven't really used it much. So anyway. And with a lack of Wayland support, kind of, that's a hindrance for me at this point. I mean, I think you can look, but you can't be looked at. So maybe that is good. I don't know. And then another IP scanner called Fing Android app. So the Fing app, I think it's just for Android usage. I didn't check that one out. Looks interesting. I think it's so you can do it on your mobile. Yeah, find connected devices, block network intruders. Oh, it's actually a little more than that. So identify connect devices, troubleshoot network connectivity issues, block intruders, and run internet speed tests anywhere. Like a Swiss Army knife of Android apps there. Oh, and it's on the Apple Store as well. So if you need it on your iSomething, check that out. And then gamers here, anybody here play games? Yes, no?
No.
I figured Terry, you were like a big time gamer.
No. In my younger days.
Yeah. So last week, is that your younger days?
Years ago.
Oh, okay. So I brought up something called the Heroic Games Launcher. If you would like to have access to different, game services, so like I think Epic is one of them. You can use the Amazon games, and then GOG or Grando Games, I think it used to be called that. And you can run it on the Steam Deck, and actually it integrates really nicely on the Steam Deck. So it's a pretty neat thing. So it's great for like modern gaming systems, I guess. Probably not really for the SNES, NES, Atari folk. Probably not necessary. I think I'm sure that launcher is as much memory as all the Atari games combined. But anyway, if you want to have access to all your different games in a very nice user interface, Heroic Game Launcher is pretty cool for that. Oh, and then this was brought up by me, something that I am still using today to do my Office 365 email, and that's the Prospect Mail. So if you need to, and actually the developer for Prospect Mail, so I was so happy with it. It's helped me so much in being able to access my mail and such, on Linux. Mm-hmm. I gave him like a one-time donation, and as a thank you, I got some cat pictures. So that was nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I got them on Telegram. So,
sweet.
So if you would like some cat pictures of the developer for Prospect Mail and you use it, you can do that and get some. I sent, as a thank you for the cat pictures, I sent pictures of my cat. Oh, he actually sent a cat video. I just sent a picture.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. So yeah, Prospect Mail, it's pretty great. I will probably continue to use that for some time. For as long as I'm using Microsoft Mail anyway. The next application that was kicked out there, and I don't know how much we talked about this one. I don't remember having an in-depth conversation, but was something called Bookworm. I don't know who brought this one up, but it is it's an ebook reader application.
Mm-hmm.
I use Calibre, and so I haven't really had a need to look at anything else. But it looks really nice, and I like the layout of the, it has that Amazon Fire book. What's that thing called? Fire, Kindle Fire. Kindle Fire. There we go. I knew it to get eventually. I'd walk into it. It's kind of a look to it. So and it looks like it's a GTK style application as well. Let me check out Bookworm. I don't know if anybody here's using it, but that's pretty cool. Then DistroBox. So for those that use an immutable desktop environment, I think DistroBox is very, very popular amongst these folk. And I've yet to actually spend any time with it. Anybody here use it?
I tried it. It was fun. It was kind of neat.
Yeah, as long as it as long as it works. As long as it does what you need to do. Yeah. I use something called Podman for managing like images and whatnot. I don't know if that's like I don't know how that compares to something like DistroBox. I think they do similar. I think they do similar functions. I think Podman, does. I use it for managing like Docker images and whatnot. And I think does DistroBox do that too? I don't know. I don't even know.
I don't know. I just followed a video a long time ago and tried it out.
Okay.
It was neat.
Yep. And I think this might be something I need to check into. This next thing, local send. I think this is something I was going to look into, but didn't end up looking into because whatever reason. But local send. That would be handy. So to send files to nearby devices. I don't know what they have a Flatpak. I wonder how that works as far as firewall rules. I don't know.
Oh, so if you want to send a large file or something to somebody?
Yeah, or even just like a link to something or whatever, like a text file. Yeah, I was on my daughter's computer that I built, and I was looking at a bunch of like recipes and such for cookies, and I wanted to send it to my computer, so I could build an actual list from there. And then I didn't know how to do that, so I just used SSH, and then I just created a text file on my computer in the terminal because that was the easiest way to do it for me. But like a local send would have been kind of handy to have. I'll have to check that out. I have to check it out again because or really look into it because that might be that might actually solve some other things for me. Well, then in December, early part of December, we did a application appetizer snaps edition where we dug into snaps. So I think if you're running MX Linux or Antix, you're probably not going to be using snaps, I'm guessing.
No.
But that was interesting.
Cruz with the apps and the snap images and everything, crap. Cruz doesn't even know what that is.
It's okay. He'll figure it out eventually. So Snap's just another way of delivering applications to your system. They're not Debian, but they're a containerized, compressed, basically file system that attaches to your system. I use Snaps a little bit. I like there's a lot of fun things in the Snap store, so I like that. And then we had Till from No Budget Developer, works for Canonical. He joined us for that show and gave us an education on things of printing and of snaps in general. So that was pretty cool. We had someone who literally allowed me to be able to print in Linux. Pretty cool. So anyway, that was all the applications we really talked about. There might have been some others in there that didn't get recorded, but I think those are the biggest ones. And I use I use a few of the things that we tried out, not all of them. But I think the applications I use kind of shift over time. Oh, and Anna, she says, I hate snaps and I love flat packs. I don't think I hate anything. But yeah. Oh, and here CCJ says a good 95% of Linux doesn't care about snaps. That's probably also true. I don't know. I like them for some things.
I like app images. Love them.
Yeah, I use them all. I use snaps, Flatpak, and app image. Oh, and RPM, of course. I use them all. I don't really care. It's basically like which one does the job the best. That's all I care about.
Mm-hmm.
How can I get from point A to point B in the least difficult way?
No
I guess.
friction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you use the app image launcher? I think it's called app image launcher.
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's called app image launcher.
Launcher.
Yep. I will put a link here. There's a pretty decent article on cubiclenate.com. Not to promote myself again, but here we go. Where basically it's how I use it essentially, and it works really great for the way I use it is I download an app image just to my desktop, and then when I launch it, it automatically integrates it into my menu, and then it's like there's no additional fiddling to do on my end, and it just works, and I like it a lot. So it makes app images awesome. Maybe awesomer might be the word. So, and then I like Flatpak because they're universal, but there's always issues with not always. There are often issues like menus being because I use a dark theme, so they'll be white, and I don't know why it does that, but it just doesn't integrate as well as snaps do. So I think the order for visual, I think app image does the best, and then I think snaps comes in second, Flatpak comes in last there as far as visual integration for me. For ease of use, I think Flatpak comes in first, app image is second, snaps third, and then I don't know what convenience. I think app image comes in first also. But anyway, yeah. So good times. So do you have anything else you want to bring in application wise? Anything they want to bring up? No.
We covered an awful lot of them.
Yeah, we did. Too much of me talking. I think I'm losing my voice. Well, next week will be the last episode of Linux Saloon for the year because, well, it's the last weekend of the year. And we're going to be doing a review of distros that we tried. So if you would like to be a part of that, please do. So it'll be just kind of a 2023 distros in review. How you're getting along with them, if the ones that you tried. I know MX Linux was definitely one that we did this year. So if you'd like to do that, that's what we'll be doing next week. So although I know with a lot of holiday parties going on right now, but there are probably a lot of lonely people out there too. And so here we go, Linux Saloon. We'll do it again next week. Talk about the distros in review. There is a Google Calendar. So I need to get a better link for that. But we do have a calendar, so So I always have all the shows planned in advance. I got to get that calendar on the Tux Digital website. Got to talk to Michael about that. I told Eris I would, and I haven't done that yet. So sorry, Eris. I know you're not here. You're busy doing things.
Hey, Nate.
Yeah.
Tell Cruz how to get to that.
The calendar. Actually, if you go to cubiclenate.com/Linux Saloon, that'll take you there. I'll put a link in the.
Yeah, I can paste it.
Okay, you can do that. Yeah, that'll take you there.
Sorry, guys. I'm running slow today.
No worries.
I should be fired and severely punished.
Nah. So, if you have any suggestions for any topics or anything of that nature, Could be discussion suggestions, distribution, application, or poll ideas. Be sure to send them to suggestions@linuxsaloon.com, or you can tag it in a Telegram or Discord. I'm not very good with about the Discord, but Telegram for sure. You can find me on Matrix as well. I'll take Matrix over Discord. But anyway, you can send them to me directly, or you can put them in the chat. I'm good with that, and we'll put them, compile them down. So, I don't have anything else here kind of lined up right now. So, anybody have anything they want to bring up? Anything exciting going on in their tech world, or end of year nonsense? No.
No, not really. Sorry, guys. It's pretty much
Hey, what
status
about-
quo.
Hey, what about streaming services? Does anybody use any live TV streaming services?
No. You've actually brought
No?
some of that
Nobody-
stuff up. Yeah, you brought some of that stuff up before.
Yeah, Has anybody heard of Friendly TV?
Friendly TV? Never.
Yeah. Okay, so Friendly TV price range is from $7.99 a month. I think it is. I don't know. They just recently changed their prices, but I think it's like 50 live channels for like as low as $7.99 a month. So if you Google Friendly TV, right, and bring up their website, check that out. Because that price point is really good. I mean, where else are you going to get 50 live channels for $7.99 a month?
FriendlyTV.com.
FriendlyTV.com. Yeah, Google that one.
Try.friendlytv.com.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they give you a 7-day free trial period. So they're definitely like the lowest one as far as price goes for live streaming.
Huh.
So right now I'm on the 7-day trial period. So far so good.
Oh, look, they got the Hallmark Channel, Jinda.
Yeah,
It's
I
your
was going to
favorite.
say, on their wiki page, they lead off with Hallmark Channel as being number one with a bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have
Weather Channel is number two.
Weather Channel. They got all 3 Hallmark channels. They got both Lifetime movie. Oh, man, they have a great lineup for the price.
I guess
Because
I
where
can
else
now
you can
stop torrenting my
Hey,
Hallmark movies.
Yeah, look at that. Where else are you going to get these channels for $7.99 a month?
Oh, they got QVC. So if you want to like burn your money on nonsense that doesn't work, you can watch that too.
Yeah.
They also got MeTV,
Mm-hmm.
H&I, where you can watch Star Trek, Next Generation, Voyager, and what's the other one? Did I miss Next Generation?
Oh, you said that.
Enterprise.
Deep Space. Yeah, Deep Space Nine is on there too.
Nobody remembers Enterprise.
I like Enterprise.
Oh yeah, H&I does have the original Star Trek at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, Star Trek Enterprise had probably the most hated intro theme. I liked it. I still do like it.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it's great. I don't know why it gets such hate.
I think the singer was Brit Fixture forever. Still is, probably.
Even Friendly's added a couple new channels too.
That's good. So CCJ in chat says, any good nerd has Star Trek on DVD and Blu-ray. So I have all 7 seasons of Star Trek The Next Generation on DVD, not Blu-ray. I started buying them
Just
like
DVD here.
yeah.
Hey, that's why I have
worthy?
I only subscribe to Paramount Plus to get all my different Star Trek series.
Yep. I really enjoyed the season 3 of Picard. The first 2 seasons are whatever.
But did you notice on season 3, the scenery was so dark?
Yeah,
I don't know if it was just my hardware or what.
No, it's generally darker. Like the ships are more like, I don't know, like almost broody. And
It upset me to the point where I started Googling, asking, hey, did you guys find season 3 to be very, very dark? And oh my gosh, the complaints were legion. They just went on and on.
Well, I think there's this problem, I think, with a lot of Star Trek seems to suffer from it, but like everything's got to be more gritty. You notice that? Like everything has to be like dark and gritty. Like, I don't, life is already dark and gritty. Can I just have can I have a suspend
Well,
reality?
I think it was one of the showrunners of this third season made a point about the software hardware combo they were using to film it. It was a one shot thing, and they couldn't go back to reshoot, and they don't know that they've really shot it looking too dark until it's too late.
Yeah. I mean,
Like they couldn't apply a filter to brighten it up or something without wrecking it.
so it didn't really bother me all that much. It just, to me, because it was just like, if you watch even like Discovery, which I didn't really care for, it's also very dark too. They're all kind of, the they can't pay the light bills apparently, or I mean, I don't know what the problem is. But like, if you watch like Star Trek Next Generation, you go to like Star Trek Generations, that's darker too. I don't know if you noticed that, like the lights are broken.
Yep.
So,
Lights are broken.
just trying to save money on, power, I guess. Got to put it all toward the defensive systems. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I thought Picard, like the way it ended to me, was just absolutely brilliant. Yep. I think CCJ says it.
Absolutely.
To see them bring back the Enterprise D was just the greatest. Was absolutely worth it. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Even like the cadence of how they did the Next Generation theme, like the way they just kind of shifted a little bit, and that was kind of more like, I don't know, more fanfare-ish, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing it like leave space dock and then just kind of, bank toward the toward the camera, and just the whole thing. I was just like, was it nerd? Was it like was it fan servicing? What is it called when you like just serving the fans? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. And
I think so.
And I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Anna, you're correct. I'm absolutely correct on that, Anna.
Very eloquent.
Yes.
Hey, which series is the best out of all of them though? Of the Star Trek series, which one do you think is the best?
I like Next Generation the most. It's just, to me,
I'm the oldest one here, so you know where I'm at.
original.
I'm gonna say Voyager.
I like Voyager too. It was kind of like Lost in Space meets Star Trek. So that was fun. I like.
I think the whole woman. I think the whole woman captain thing was great.
Mm-hmm.
I think Janeway was a good captain. I was more of a 7 of 9 fan,
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
and I liked
I
her.
hope
in Picard.
I hope a new series comes out with her.
Yeah,
There's a talk about
being
Star Trek
captain.
Legacy. Yeah. There's talk about Star Trek Legacy
Yeah.
and Enterprise G. Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I'd like it for sure.
what
I
bringing
hope
back
so.
bringing back Kate McGrew?
No,
No, not her. 7 of 9.
No,
7 of 9.
7 of 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, being
That
a
would
captain
that
of our
would
own
that
ship.
would be oh wow, that would be really good.
So Joseph DeGarmo, he says, I prefer Star Wars.
Star Wars. Sacrilege.
Yeah. So
Yeah. How could you pick Star Wars over Star Trek?
well, I think pre-Disney, I would totally agree. Star Wars pre-Disney, absolutely. I like the prequel. That was fine too. Anna Rita says Battlestar Galactica was very good. Now she's not specifying
The
which
reboot.
ones. The reboot or the original?
The original.
I like the original better than the reboot, and I'm not a
I
purist.
love the original when it came out.
The
because
original-
it was fresh
the
to this
original.
country.
Yeah.
And the reboot, I absolutely, that's the template that everything else has to be measured against, I think. So, yeah, that's how much I love the reboot.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The original was
I
just
quoted
so
in my
great,
sleep,
though.
man.
And then CCJ says he bought season 3 and put it right into his TNG collection. You can buy season 3 like on DVD or something or Blu-ray, because I would definitely buy that and put it with my collection of Star Trek Next Generation. Yes. Oh, also I want to make a comment on Enterprise D, like going into the Borg cube. Did that seem a little like Return of the Jedi-ish to you, like when the Millennium Falcon went inside the Death Star. It felt a little bit like that, which I was fine with it. I didn't really care. Like, okay, it's a giant ship. They've never actually maneuvered it that hard before. Nobody's on it, so I guess it didn't really matter. If the furniture goes flying. But I thought just
I'm sure the writers were aware.
Well, yeah, I mean, it did show them
Yeah.
being affected by the heavy banking of the Enterprise D, and yeah, no, I think it was fine. I don't care. I will take it. It was great. Just the whole thing was just great to me. It brings a smile to my face. Even I will watch clips on YouTube of it over and over again from time to time, just if I need a smile, just to watch it. The interactions were great. I think my favorite line in there was when they're all like on the bridge of the Enterprise D and they're all talking, like they're all like looking around, and Picard says, being with you here in this moment, I remembered what I missed the most. It was the carpet, and which I think was kind of a slam at all the new Trek. Because none of the ships have carpet. They all look like they're just not fun to be on, and so the fact that he made that comment, I thought was just beautiful. There's so many just beautiful moments in there. Yeah. Anyway, so all right. So I guess that was a nice little nonsense there. It is that time for last call. So I don't know if I'm just gonna go around the horn here. Saying I don't know if you wanted to say anything, kind of a last word. How things? Did you have fun tonight?
Oh, that's me. That's my cue. Oh, absolutely. I'm so glad that I actually made it on, despite the shyness.
Well, I know. I'm glad you I actually see. I can put name to face now.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. It's pretty great.
And plus, it gives me an opportunity to thank you so much for continuing what Rocco started those number of years back. And yeah, you guys are great.
Well, thank you very much for being a part of it. And without people here, it would just be me, chatting at the camera, and I couldn't tell.
Actually, that raises a good question. What if it was just you on the panel? Would you keep talking?
I think I'd probably kick it over to my desk, and I'd probably work on something until somebody popped on. So, yeah. Oh, I got it. There's just another great comment here from CCJ. Says the D was comfortable like a Hilton in space. If I was going to do a 5-year mission, I'd rather be on the D. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, that I totally agree. It'd be the ship to be on. And all those recreational things, got the holodecks, the gyms, undeveloped. Oh, you know what? Actually, hang on. Hold that thought.
Huh.
So I was going through a bunch of boxes of things, actually today, looking for something, and I found my blueprints to the Enterprise D.
Oh, wow.
So,
Whoa.
I remember getting these, but they're all these.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So floor by floor, I think this is the outside here of the Enterprise D.
Whoa.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they mapped every piece of the ship out. And I got this probably some 20 odd years ago, and I haven't seen it. The box is in a little bit of rough shape, but I can fix it. Anyway. Yes, I'm a nerd. That was directed toward Anna. Yes, OMG, nerd. Yeah. Yes, and I mean, I'm doing a show called Linux Saloon. Can you get any nerdier than that? Come on.
I'm surprised you just figured that out now.
I know. So, anyway, so Ron, thank you very much. Does anybody else want to say anything? Cruz or Terry? Anybody?
Speak up, Cruz. Cruz hasn't talked enough.
I'm here. I'm here. Glad I was able to be on tonight. I really learned about some really new cool applications that you listed there. Can you just tell me about what's the name of the syncing one that you can
Syncthing.
make syncing?
Syncthing. Syncthing. I think
Okay, okay,
syncthing.net. Yep. Yeah,
okay.
so check that out. That's really pretty great. And I think Syncthing will be in the it should be in the repos of MX Linux. So you won't have
Okay,
to actually go to
well,
the website.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah. I mean,
definitely try it out.
you can install it from the terminal.
I think
Okay.
sudo apt install Syncthing probably.
Oh yeah, I've been teaching them his terminal commands.
You can also go to the nice little application, the package manager that or maybe an application. I don't know what it's called in MX. I can't remember now.
Yeah, the MX installer.
Alright. Okay.
And Cruz, what you can do too is like the chat window. I
Yeah.
usually do a Control A, Control C, stick it into a text editor, and save it so I can go back later on to see which programs were discussed. Because 10 seconds, it's gone, man.
It's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being here, Cruz, and being a part of it. I hope you come back next week. I mean, if you feel like it, you're always welcome. Everybody's welcome. There's no there's not an exclusive group at all. It's a pretty welcoming bunch on the internet. Yeah. Jind, I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to say.
No, you know how chatty I am, so.
I know, pretty extreme.
Everybody have a great Christmas.
Thank you very much. You too. I
Yeah.
still have a little more baking to
You too.
do. I
Thanks,
like
man.
to I like to make cookies and things for neighbors and whatnot. So I'm one of those weirdos. I'll be a great old lady someday. But
Yeah, I'll be watching some Paramount Plus, watching some Voyager.
oh, good. Oh, saying he unmuted for just a moment. I don't know if Mr. Saying there, if you want to say anything, you're free to say anything you like, as long as there's no profanity. Because it's a gotta be
No, not at all. I mostly take this time to listen and basically learning everything so far because I don't have any idea of anything. I stuck with Microsoft with most of my work with all these applications that you told me of. I jot them down on my notes so I can explore them. And
excellent.
I'm still with Windows, so
You can use
that's a whole different thing.
you can use whatever you like. There's no shaming here of that. So
And you
We can
sound like
convert. We can convert you over to Linux though.
yes,
and,
again,
and Sang, you sound very much like me this time in 2016 when I was a pure Windows user and just got frustrated with the exercise of agony that was Windows 10. And yeah, it was just a lot of jotting down notes, trial and error, trying this distro, that distro. I think I went through 42 distros in a space of 6 weeks. So
Whoa.
literally.
Hey, he's doing it the right way. He's
So
not
yeah,
jotting down
it was
notes.
pretty brutal.
But what in 6 weeks? Wow.
6 weeks. It
The
was
Whoa.
only thing
zero tolerance for any kind of friction, like a user interface. I just want to see what
Wow.
the big appeal was because everyone was so excited and these
Whoa.
channels on YouTube. So had to
That's
give it a try.
a lot of distros in 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, distros, yeah, to explore the desktops too, right? Because I'm a big fan of the old school XP look and feel, even the Windows 98 old. So things like Mate appealed to me immediately. XFC was the winner overall, personally, but that was, man, many months to get to where I was comfortable with it. But yeah, the first 6 weeks was intense, but it was fun. You break things, you
Whoa.
blow up things. It's good. You
Whoa.
learn so much. Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, I guess you've been through a lot of tough stitches there, but I really wouldn't want to be through anything similar like that. The only system
Well,
that
when you're bored,
come again?
when you're bored and you're in the middle of a conversation, it takes too long on the telephone. You just throw up, I guess.
Well, if you got a spare machine too, it's actually fun to play on that spare machine and try different things out and see what works, see what doesn't work, and so forth. But yeah.
And that's how I did. Sometimes I have up to 3 machines running simultaneously. Used old laptops, and it worked out really well.
I tried to park them or just hand them over as a second-hand gift. Now I only left with one. I took out the HP, but that's just it. I stick with it. The only thing I've used apart from Windows was Ubuntu. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Yeah, Ubuntu's great.
I used to use Ubuntu. Now I'm just back to Windows.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, a computer's a tool. It's a wrench. It's a hammer, maybe a drill. If it doesn't do its job, then you got to change the bit, got to change it to do what you got to do. And if it's, computers are kind of a hobby for me also, and also a career, and so it's just kind of a lot of things for me. So, but
but if somebody gave you the choice of I don't know, a harbor freight hammer versus say an S-Wing 16-ouncer with a D head, you probably want that S-Wing, eh?
Oh yeah, but so which one, if I drop it on my foot, is going to hurt less?
Probably the harbor freight.
So definitely not a sledge. Don't use a sledgehammer to pound in nails. I mean, you can. It's not a good idea. So anyway, well, thank you very much for being here. So Terry, did you have anything you want to say else?
Other than Merry Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas. And
convert. Where's the one that says he's using Windows? We can convert him over to MX Linux.
Well, so long as he doesn't drop the hammer on his foot, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
And then I think Steve, he didn't join us, but he did say Merry Christmas and Merry Christmas all. And he does I don't know if he's doing anything tomorrow. He didn't say one way or the other, but he does have a show that he does on Sunday mornings. I know it's going to be like it's New Year's Eve. Not sure if he's going to do anything New Year's Eve morning, but if he does, it's at 8:15 a.m. Central, and he does. It's very. I enjoy listening to Steve. He's like the least punchable face on the internet. And like when I see him, he makes me smile. Just even if he doesn't talk, if he's just standing there, if he's just sitting there, looking at the screen, reading something, it just makes me smile. So I can check that out on YouTube. Steve's very own. Linux User Space, they're on a holiday break right now, but they have a Gnome History episode that'll be coming up. If you haven't, I think they actually may have released it already, so maybe check that out. I am on a podcast called Linux Out Loud. We were supposed to record this past week, but we didn't because someone didn't have a voice, and that wasn't me. But I have 2 fantastic co-hosts, Matt and Wendy. I do enjoy very much my my chats with them. They're fun. I have a website called cubiclenate.com. I do things, and I am due out several articles now because I'm kind of a slacker. Linux Saloon is part of the Tux Digital Network. Check out more shows at tuxdigital.com. I want to thank you all for your support, however you do it, being a part of the conversation, both the Zoom meeting, the YouTube stream, as well as watching the show after the fact. I want to thank everyone involved in making Linux open source tools possible for us to not only have this conversation, but also to have fun and enjoy our technology. Because Linux truly puts personal back in a personal computer, whether you're running Windows or MX Linux or OpenSUSE. It's whatever you would like to do. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure to tip your developers. And please remember to Linux responsibly. Until next time, see yas. Oh, where's my transition? Thanks for watching. There we go. Thanks for watching.
Oh, yeah.
Now we got it.